Welcome back. I'm Chris with DGX here in Southern Utah, and today we're going to be talking about slings, why they are a necessity versus an accessory. A lot of people look at slings in different manners and what they do and how they function and stuff like that. And in my opinion, they are a necessity. It's not an accessory. Let's start off. The first thing that most people are going to think about when it comes to a sling is you're going to have a hunting rifle. This is one of the Brownings that I have. And this is just a 2-point sling that you can see on here. Nothing very special, just material. This happens to be a nylon woven setup to it. I've got metal buckles just to hold everything together, but it's real simple, folds over the shoulder and holds the rifle up. This is what 90% of people view a sling to do. But really what it's doing, a sling helps you to maintain control of the firearm. That's the basic purpose of it. So let's talk about a sling from a tactical standpoint. Why would you want to maintain control of a firearm? Number one is safety. We always come back to safety. We've got to have safety when it comes to firearms. We don't want to have anybody dying. We don't want to have anybody being injured. And so a sling is basically the same way that a holster is for a pistol. It controls the firearm when you're doing whatever you're doing. I've got a couple different slings here that have different mounts to them. This one here and this mount are two separate mounts, as you can tell. This one is what they call a clamshell or a claw or multiple other names. And basically it opens up and connects onto some sort of a bar. Here's a good example. It just attaches and can slide around and maneuver. There's also a little lock button on there that stops the clamp from actually opening up. This is what they call a quick disconnect, or a QD. Basically, there's a little button here on the back side that when you push it, these little balls, they're called detents, are actually allowed to go in, and you can put it into a quick detachable mount hole on your firearm. A lot of people see them underneath the side of hunting rifles, or on an AR, there's multiple points. That's what I'm going to kind of show you today and show you the different types. We'll pull off one of my rifles that I use from time to time. And this one I have set up specifically with multiple attachment points. In fact, let me put it on this side. Again, I like the quick disconnects. I get my sling on, I can get my sling off if I need to. But I've got a point back here in the back on my stock. This stock actually comes with it. It's put there directly, and a lot of firearms are set up that way these days with the rear stock that they come onto it. My lower receiver that I have actually has one built into it so that I can put it directly onto the firearm itself. And then the rail up here, I've got one on the front of my rail. So I've got multiple attachments. I've seen them all over the place to where they have them in the front and the back on the rail. I've seen them on the top. If some of my other stuff that's up here, I believe I have one on the other side of this rifle over here. We'll lift this one off and show you. Because if you have a rail system set up on your rifle, they make pieces just like this to where the disconnect can go in and it can get put directly onto it. Because again, this rifle, I've got a quick disconnect point in the back and I've got one up in the front, but this is also set up with a military sling band up in the front so that I could, if I wanted to, I could get one of these sling material setups and make my own. And then that also comes back here into the back. The company that makes this rear stock made these slits in the back so that I could bring and put my sling material in there. So even if you just went out and got some material, you could easily fit yourself with a sling. But let me show you why I really like the slings that you see up here on the table as my examples. This is considered a multi-point sling. Like we talked about before, there's single-point slings, there's 2-point slings, 3-point slings, and multi-point slings. I'm sure that there's 4- and 5-point slings out there. There's plenty of them. But I like the multi-points the best. They're more versatile. You can do more things with them. So this is my personal sling. This is one that I've set up a little bit. I open it up just a bit when it comes into play. But I put 2 quick disconnects on both sides. And then as you can see, my little piece here helps slide the size of my sling smaller or bigger depending upon what I'm doing. This is my personal sling, and I'm going to show you how to put it into a multi-point, but it's going to go into a single point first. The buckle that's up here at the top actually has a spot for a QD mount, as you can see. It comes across, clicks into place, and holds in nice and tight. And that's your single point. Now, I have multiple points on my firearm that I can put it at. Most of the time, you're going to want the weight and the retention of the firearm to be towards the back of the receiver if you're going to use it in a single point setting. So I'll just connect it into my receiver right in the back. And the gun hangs flat. It hangs directly down in front of me. And then if I need to utilize it, if I'm coming up to do any drills or shooting, it's automatically right there. It's not getting in the way. It's going to stay out of the way. As it comes up, it's not putting any retention or anything on the firearm, but I can put it down and let go of the rifle. I maintain control. Again, safety is going to be paramount. We want to maintain control of the rifle at all times. And that's what this is, as a sling, it's going to do. I'm maintaining control. The reason that the single point is probably my least favorite spot is because it puts the rifle right here in front of me. The other thing is, as I'm walking, it's pointed directly at my feet. So again, thinking safety-wise, if something was to go wrong, if there was a problem, then the rifle could initially hurt me or harm me down at my feet. I don't very much care for that position very often, but it is one that is utilized, and I've utilized it often. So the next spot, and again, multi-point, I'm going to make it a 2-point. I'm going to remove it from the back of my receiver, and I'm going to put it at the back of my buttstock. Still in the single point, holds down a little bit further. If I wanted to, I still can come up, bring it into the shooting position, and utilize it just fine, but it hangs a little bit lower. So now it's kind of cumbersome as I'm walking around. This is not one of my favorite positions, again, but I'll show you to put it into a 2-point. We take it out of the buckle that's on the back of it, and now I have 2 points of option to put it onto my rifle. I'm going to put it up on the handguard, up at the very front, and now I'm holding the gun sideways. It's crossing my body. So the safety aspect of this position, though, is nice because, as you can see, the muzzle is pointed away from my body. If something happens and the rifle happens to go off, it's going to be pointed away. I can also move a little bit. I have more movement to this side rather than this way, but it's still a good point. I can come up, I can utilize my rifle from both sides, and I'll turn so you guys can see. I can come up and it's still underneath my arm. So it's retained, it's there, it's out of the way. But this is the position that I like the most. And simply because with this strap, this multi-point, again, remember how I can make it smaller and larger. The thing I like about this one is if I'm doing something, or I'm working, or I'm reloading magazines, for instance, I don't want to put my rifle down. I want to maintain control the entire time. I can take the rifle in this configuration, grab the buttstock, and I can pull it around my back, okay? Now, in this position, it's loose. I can set it on my back. It's going to be set back there. There's no problems with it. But I like this specific because I've got this loop, this plastic slide. I just pulled it nice and tight to my back. So now I can jump up and down, and it's not going to be moving. I can actually go run if I want to do it. If I need to utilize my gun, again, in a quick manner, I can grab that, flip it around, open it back up, and come back up on target. It's really versatile. It's really easy. The other reason I like the quick disconnects, and instead of getting into the 3 points, that's again my next point, is that the multi-point is only in 2 positions at one time, but it doesn't lock you in. Let's say that something happens and your gun gets jammed up, okay? Or you need to take off your gun at any time. All you have to do is disconnect, and your rifle now is completely separated from you. I have been out coyote hunting before and had my rifle in a sling that was set up similar to this hunting rifle over here, and getting in trees and bushes and gotten crowded and hid in there, and the branches get tied up, and my gun and my sling and myself are now getting tied up into a big knot. I couldn't get away from it. But if you need to, with the quick detaches, you can take it off, you can put it on, you can change it, put it on there to the receiver. I can come down, this is a little higher up, I don't like that. I can move it to this area. I can change it however I need to change it. It's really simple. Again though, slings are a necessity, not an accessory. Most people, again, think about them as such that, well, I'll buy one when I need it. I've known people to have accidents. I've seen people have accidents where they didn't maintain control of their firearm, or they have a son, daughter, or a neighbor that isn't really firearm friendly. They don't understand the mechanics of it, and they're going out, they shoot, they don't put the gun on safe, they go and they lay it down, the gun falls off the vehicle or table or wherever they lay it down, and the gun goes off. That's safety orientated at all times. Maintain control all the time. That's always what I'm doing when it comes to my firearms. The sling is just an accessory that's going to help in so many more ways. And another one is, just for the very end piece, this one's going to be a little tough to get in for some odd reason. Another thing that a lot of people do is now you can use your hands, but let's say that something else happens to your firearm. Let's say that you go dry and you're doing a competition. With a sling, you can move it out of the way in this fashion, or you can come back, like you saw, we can push it back on our back, come back to this area, and we can transition to the next firearm, whatever we're using. So, again, multiple points, multiple reasons for it to be multiply better. Again, I'm Chris Michael. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.